next to the aircraft storage hangers on.
Yes, mate.
Oh, yeah, mate.
Hey, welcome to number 9 Boona Street in Wagga Wagga, one of the storage repositories for the CNAPG. This is where some of our messier stuff is, as well as lots of other locations around the countryside. Dion knows about that there. Richie might know about that soon. We sort of like to leave our mark everywhere. There's a bit of variety of stuff here. Some of the things, the old DC-3 cockpit just next to us was an original DC-3, not a C-47. Was with ANA later on, obviously Ansett ANA and Airlines of South Australia. A few other things. That was, I think, the last markings that it actually wore, I think, was Airlines of South Australia. It was scrapped in Essendon. Did the rounds. Raven Air Museum did have it. A chap called Dick Winterburn had it. I bought it off him back in the 80s. It was very corroded then, but still pretty historic for what it was. We did have it stored around. We did move it to another property when Mum and Dad moved from their property, and we moved it to another place, and a certain person went out there and vandalised it and kicked a lot of things in and very badly damaged it, unfortunately. What's been happening, we brought it up here, got a little trailer underneath, rolled the trailer under and strapped it to it and loaded it up on the car trailer, brought it up. We do hope to... don't know for sure whether we'll actually restore it or have it as historic item as it is. As it is, to restore the thing, the top of it, the roof had all been kicked away, front round the cockpit had been kicked away. The under the floor was badly buckled up and kicked, was still attached, but if we do fix it, we have to basically slice underneath and replace a number of the ribs and bits underneath there used for patterns and that. So what we've decided to do, we're going to slice it, cut a bit away to checking in there now. I'm going to cut it down so it's easy to storage, and possibly thinking about making some displays up using a half of it to show the thing off, rather than just being stored away waiting for the bits to be made up, and possibly display that somewhere as a historic item, more or less as is. In the meantime, with it cut, well, as I scrounge up old metal being thrown away, get a hold of bits and pieces I can make and make some replacement parts if they're needed. We do have another Dakota cockpit as well, which I bought when I got this one too. These were from back the pre-CNAPG days when I got them. It's this one was from VHN without an E for Dion's N.
Like my mum's.
And the other Dakota cockpit was A6524. It's stored around at another warehouse here in Wagga. It's in much better condition than this one. There's a few other bits and pieces around, just odd things, bits of Fairy Battle, bits of Dakota, bits of cars, Sabre drop tank, signs. Vampire canopy, aircraft storage hangar signs to go against the aircraft storage hangars. Can't quite put my finger on where that one come from, but I was there at the time when it was taken down and someone was going to throw it, well, someone actually did throw it into Dumpmaster. And I said, bugger that, I can think of some good places where it can go. It's been out on the main CNAPG storage hangar. Stage 3 went out at Clyde North for a few years, and then when that was emptied and demolished, the sign moved on to be used for future generations of storage hangars and sheds. So that's just some of the items. We'll just go through the mud and everything here. We're trying to recreate a World War I battlefield just to keep in with the theme of things. We'll come across here, talking of battles. We just happen to have a battle cockpit with a bit of a Pepsi box. Pepsi Cat, who's hiding out of sight, and kittens tend to quite love this, bouncing and running all around over it and climbing over the thing. Fairy battle cockpit, light bomber, as you know. Probably seen slightly better days. This one's around 1938 when it was built. So we've got that. I did have a number of other battle bits. I had battle stuff from before CNAPG days, plus more we've got. There are some bits here that I'd cleaned up. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff was stored out at the same property where the DC-3 was vandalised, and a lot of stuff's disappeared from out there. Huge quantity. Unfortunately, don't know who'd want battle bits, but obviously someone did want some, and they've taken quite a lot of the other bits that we had out there. Forward, a lot of stuff went missing. Plus, we also lost dozens and dozens of boxes of instruments, other things stacked up out there. Actually, a lot of stuff stacked on pallets under tarps and things, and yeah, we were away for a while with it stored, and one time when we went back we found tarps, everything pulled off, boxes smashed open and just thrown out on the ground everywhere, and yeah, lots of stuff missing, including things such as a whole Mackie fuselage and that they're stolen as well, plus lots of other things, Merlin engine, etc. But you get that. Here we have another one of the cat's favourite play toys. They sort of tend to use this as a play gym, running up the back, jumping out and chasing each other, jumping out the nose or down there on the tank, and kittens running around flat chat on it. Other purposes that it's been used for in the past has been to fill in space on our trailers and help keep the weeds down in our backyards. Was also used as a light bomber or training aircraft at Avro Anson, as you can probably guess. We do have the fuselage from this as well. The rest of the fuselage is stored out at Grong Grong. Had been doing some cleaning up work on it, bits and pieces, and hope to get things in undercover soon and get stuck into it more. But
it's been cleaned up a bit as well.
A lot of things have been slowed down over the years while we've been sort of spending too much money storing things and slowly getting stuff moved and that. But now that we're light at the end of a tunnel sort of thing, when they dig the rest of the tunnel out so we can get out of it, we'll actually... yeah, get stuck into some more things in a big way and be nice to get a few things fixed up and other things on loan to places like the Catalina cockpit that is sort of thing and things like that.
And then we can get ourselves an F111.
True, hopefully they'll home deliver that one. Although
Bring in by Chinook.
Yeah, look, I'd like to have a few of them there just so that we've got a bit of backup and that there. It might be lonely by itself.
C, a G, maybe an RF.
And we might have more cats by then and they need more play toys to stop the arguments. Just here we have a push bike, as you can see. It has a broken bell, but you never know, one day it might get restored. But you're probably thinking, what the hell's he on about? I don't want to look at push bikes. But behind the push bike we have an Argosy door, as you can see, hidden away behind the corrugated iron. Just over here behind us, behind the yellow crate, is a section of B-24, goes off a tail just in front of a turret. We've got a Vampire nose just there, a little bit more battle cockpit sitting up on top of the box, bits of Neptune sitting underneath it. Across here on the trailer, hidden behind the pellets, is another Vampire cockpit, just a firewall and section of a cockpit just there. Plus we have another Vampire cockpit here, which is very rotted as from sitting out on top of posts for many years in the weather.
A79, 807.
Yes, currently uncovered, but
T35.
have been playing around a little bit with some bog, just sort of seeing how it would go a bit of time.
Came off a pole at Canberra, I think it was only up there for 30 years in the weather or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Who knows?
And that, but been playing around with different methods, patching up and sort of thinking, well, once again, soon when we don't have to keep taking tarps off the bugger and that, pull some iron down off the shed and in the shed and lots more bog and glue and
we can charge
bits of
people
wood
for rides
put in there and some fabric and at least get it looking like an aeroplane from the outside.
Exactly.
It probably won't fly very well though. We can see behind the white shopping stand just there is another section of Fairy Battle cockpit hidden across there. Plus also just down near the back of the trailer you can just sort of see where the crowbar wrecker's bar's poking out. Bit of material just there. I think if I'm correct that would be no, sorry, I thought it was a Dove undercarriage door, but I'm incorrect. It's actually a bit of Iroquois.
You get that on the big projects.
Don't know whether you can... Oh! DC4 passenger seat step.
You haven't seen that before?
Yes. Over the back here we've got a Wirraway frame. Various bits of aeroplanes just down around here.
This is the good stuff, the shit's elsewhere. Yeah.
Lots of junk around there. Mirage ammunition containers around there. A few sections of Tiger Moth fuselage over there. Wirraway seats. Oh, that looks like the Dove undercarriage door up in the distance up there. Neptune panels.
If you look over the fence there on the neighbour's property, you can actually see a Spitfire.
Yes, yes.
Well,
picture of a Spitfire. Filling
decoration. He decorates the neighbour's house
so
with
there are
aeroplanes.
the odd bits and pieces around the place. There is a little bit of, I think it was B-24 seat turret support just up there as well, in amongst the other odds and ends.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, just here as well, we have Dion Makowski too. He's not actually a fixture of the backyard.
Oink oink.
But
good
quite
man.
possibly. You never know. Could be laying around there.
I'm just a hanger-on.
Yeah. Just here we have bits of Wirraway panel just laying there in the crate. Various bits of Wirraway. There's some bits of Oxford panels and stuff buried there as well. Bits of dug up at Wagga out of the ground.
So you dug them up and you buried them again?
Yes.
Cool.
So just a little bit of variety.
You're probably asking yourself, what are we going to do with all these one day? Keep asking. Yeah.
We'll just
it's a good question.
keep stacking more up in yards and move things around, and
gives us something to do on weekends.
What does the future hold for CNAPG?
Well, we're trying to recruit some more long-term members, possible directors for future.
Yes, well, it'd be nice, as I said, the last
acquisitions.
several years sort of thing, since we had to move most of the stuff from out at Clyde North, it's been a case that stuff's been stored left, right and centre. Some people have been generous, which has been great, and that others have been commercial places, so kept us pretty well broke.
Yes.
And that there, I know certainly when we first moved the stuff out there was sort of, I've forgotten how many hundreds of dollars a week in storage fees, but tended to slow things down. Over the years, we've slowly whittled it down and moved a lot of stuff up here and out to Grong Grong. And
we've just got to move our library from Melbourne.
Yeah, we've still got one paid for storage in Melbourne, which hopefully we'll get that moved soon.
Technically too, but I don't know how long it's been since the second one was paid for.
Yes.
So we're hoping that some of the items are still there.
Oh,
and
yes, there's actually a couple of paid for storages down there. Yes, I forget about that.
We've got to do a bit of an inventory.
Also, we've got a warehouse up
make
here
some
as well.
Inquiries,
which,
have inquiries made.
Hopefully we'll get that moved out in the next few months as well. They're sort of out at Grong Grong. Initially we were moving stuff up there, but we had a lot of thieves, and not so much thieves, but vandals out there and damaged stuff, so it slowed moving things down. But I've sort of, in the last 6 months, put up a number of fences and getting things ready for sheds. Got a little compound. One of the fence sections is going to put a temporary fence across and make a lock-up compound so they can really get stuck into moving stuff out there. And
we're going to have ditches, punji sticks, that sort of thing. Yeah,
we might even put a few rat traps too.
Yes.
Well, they're still legal. We can't use rabbit traps anymore, but yeah, catch the rats. But no, hopefully we'll get some things out there. It'll certainly be nice there to get the stuff moved around. I like to shed out here, sort of get it cleaned up a bit so I can, carport, put some things in and actually do some work on stuff again. As I said, it was nicer weather. I was doing some on the Anson and been playing around a bit with Vampire and various things there, so it's been enjoyable actually getting a bit of hands-on work going on again. Some of the things that we have had in the past, there's been various things out on loan. We've got a Catalina cockpit. It had been up in the, Australia's Museum of Flight at Nowra, but now that Navy have taken it over, it's not needed by then, so it's going on loan to Haas up at Albion Park. They've got their flying Catalina, but with their new hangar they're setting up a big display to do with the aircraft that they have there, and they're going to borrow the Catalina cockpit to be a centrepiece of their display up there, so that works out good for us. It preserves the cockpit, gets it undercover, gets it where people can see it and enjoy it and learn a bit from it. So.
And we've been doing this for 18 years as a club too. There's been a lot of collecting in that time, and we've had a lot of staff, things that got lost, we picked up other things.
Yes. So it's,
and Darryl's been doing a lot longer than that as well. We've all been individually collecting before we got together, and
so
a lot to go,
around.
A lot to do, but it's good. So kept us busy on weekends.
And weekdays and nights
and
too.
weekdays and weeknights, yes. And public holidays.
So that gives a bit of an idea.
Yeah.
Certainly over the last few years, our biggest, apart from moving stuff and trying to just get it stored, our biggest push has been more so in the information side of things, website, research for people, that sort of stuff. Like we've got a fair collection of books and stuff. We've got ones that we've got ourselves, individuals, plus group ones. We've got quite a big storage, got a few hundred boxes of books and magazines and papers.
Remains of a couple of different libraries. RAF College Library, the Civil Aviation Authority, let us go through their remaining collection at Henty House years ago, and when they were closing it down in the city in Melbourne. And we just had it been fortunate to be in the right place at the right time, or in the case of the building, probably the wrong place at the wrong time. The blister hanger we picked up, Mark Clayton told us about that years ago, and also he told us about DC4. And DC4 unfortunately was in the process of being scrapping, but in the process of being scrapped we said, can we keep this and this, and they piled it up in a nice neat heap for us, like a big airfix kit, and one day went out there and it was gone. So it had been double sold, it had been sold to someone else, or maybe possibly given away, we don't know for sure, but it still exists apparently in the backyard somewhere in Victoria, but we don't know exactly where. And if you have any knowledge of the whereabouts, call 1-800 Gibbs.
Yes, unfortunately it was a mix-up there that that someone passed it on. Thought, we just didn't want it. A certain person who likes kicking in DC3s at the meetings volunteered to go out and talk to the owners. It was winter time, so he couldn't get out to the area to get it at the time, and
Boggy.
he volunteered to, I'll go out and talk to the owner of the airfield and just find out that it's okay, it's still there, and what's happening. At the next meeting we had, the report came in, yes, everything's all right, and that there. Another time, a few months later, when he'd said he'd go and check again, yes, everything's still all right at the next meeting, and then we heard actually about it.
Well, we were out at the B24 Association, yes. And we're having a look at the Liberator there, and some guys come in and he's saying, oh, I got myself a DC4 cockpit. And it's like, oh, okay. And we were thinking maybe DC3 afterwards. I said to Darryl, did he say DC3 or DC4?
Yes.
Well, he said DC4. Yes. So I go out to Melton, and of course, there's wheel ruts in the ground and no DC4.
Yes. Unfortunately, the person who was, well, not delegated, but volunteered to go and do it, but when he was queried at the next meeting, or even before the meeting about it, he said, oh, I didn't actually speak to anyone. Oh, I did speak to someone there, just someone walking around one time, but I didn't speak to anyone. I just drove past and had a look. Despite where he sort of said, yes, the owner says on two occasions that it's no worries, but didn't actually. So, unfortunately, when you have meetings and people volunteer to do things, that sometimes you're better off to do it yourself.
Exactly.
Can't do much about the past, so just hope that the guy that's got it hopefully appreciates it and looks after it. At least it wasn't the Sims Metal man who got it. So. Yeah, but it was rather upsetting and disappointing. Yeah.
So it's about preservation, Clyde North Aeronautical Preservation Group.
Never know.
Not profit group.
One day we might get in touch with him. He might join the CNAPG.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping.
So there you go. That's just part of the story.
So tell them about the prostitutes? Nah, blipper.
No. We haven't got them come with our Russian aircraft yet.
Yes. Cut. Lots of...
No, the good thing is, in bloody 15 years' time, you look back and this might be all...
Yeah. I think there was a messy bad bit.
Tripled in size. And,
It'll be tripled in size.
Hopefully not my corrosion fuzz, though.
I just don't want to come back and film an F-11 cockpit sitting here. I'd be like...
Well, it'd be better to film it sitting here rather than up in allied scrap metal or something like that.
Here's the point.
No, but I want it in my backyard.
Yes. They've got plenty. They bought all those extra. Oops.
Oh, you're just draining it? Good. Nice to know. Lovely. Oh. I think I've ever seen one of those. Nice.
Yeah, they had stacks of them down at Aussie Disposals at Hampton Park.
DEFA.
Should have got a few more.
30 millimetre, is it? Yeah.